This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. More details are coming in about General Motors' plans to open a second battery plant in the U.S. with LG Chem. Reuters reports the $2.3 billion factory will be located in Spring Hill, Tennessee, near its current assembly plant. A formal announcement will be made tomorrow. The new plant will make batteries for the Cadillac Lyriq, and the batteries will use a different chemistry than the ones GM and LG will produce at their other battery plant in Ohio. Construction of the new plant will kick off next year, but it's unclear when it will open. According to the China Society of Automotive Engineers, there could be more than 1 million fuel cell-powered vehicles on Chinese roads by 2030. That's why the supplier Bosch and Chinese commercial vehicle maker Qingling Motors are forming a joint venture to develop and build fuel cell systems for the Chinese market. And it's not just for commercial vehicles, it's aimed at all Chinese automakers. Bosch is providing the fuel cell stack, air compressor, and control units for the system. Small-scale production kicks off this year. The two companies will also test a fleet of 70 Qingling trucks equipped with the system sometime this year. Bosch and Qingling are aiming to bring the fuel cell to market by 2022 or 2023. Polestar, the spin-off from Volvo that's owned by Geely, just raised over $500 million from Chinese and South Korean investors, $550 million to be precise. Polestar says the money will help accelerate product development. Currently, it only has two models, the Polestar 1, a plug-in hybrid with a $155,000 price tag, and the Polestar 2, a BEV sedan that starts at $60,000. Next year, it's going to add the Polestar 3, an electric fastback crossover. So far this year, Polestar has only sold 585 cars in the U.S. market, but it only has 6 retail outlets in the U.S. right now. And the Polestar 2 is actually outselling the XC40 Recharge. Even though both vehicles are mechanically identical, the Polestar 2 is made in China, while the XC40 Recharge is made in Belgium. And that's a real handicap for Polestar. European vehicles only pay a 2.5% import tariff coming into the U.S., while Chinese-made vehicles pay a 27.5% tariff.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Porsche implemented a new process for manufacturing the all-electric Taycan that not only saves money, but takes stress off of employees. All Porsche bodies are dipped in an anti-corrosive coating and feature specifically placed holes on the body so the coating gets into every nook and cranny. Unless plugged, those holes will start to rust over time. Previously, they were filled by hand with tightly fitted plastic pins, as much as 3,600 times per shift. But Porsche is now using a machine, which kind of looks like a big price gun, that applies adhesive patches over the holes. Not only does it only need one patch size to cover the 4 different hole types, but the machine is able to do it more than 4 minutes faster than a human. Porsche will adopt the process at another one of its paint shops in Germany this summer as well. But that's not the only EV news in VW land today. Audi pulled the camo off the new Q4 e-tron and Q4 Sportback e-tron. And let's get right into the good stuff. 2 battery sizes are offered. One has 52 kilowatt hours of usable space, while the other has 77 kilowatt hours of usable space. Only the larger will be offered in the U.S., and Audi estimates it will return 250 miles or 402 kilometers of range on the EPA cycle for single-motor, rear-wheel drive versions. That motor is estimated to put out 125 kilowatts of power, But there's also an all-wheel drive setup available as well, which adds another motor to the front axle and combines for 225 kilowatts of power. Audi did not reveal range estimates for that setup. Size-wise, the Q4 e-tron is about the same size as the Q5, which will slot it right below the e-tron that's currently out. But since it's smaller and offers a single motor setup, it will be significantly less expensive than the e-tron. In the US, Audi plans a starting price of under $45,000 before destination or incentives versus about $60,000 for the e-tron. Pricing in Germany starts at just under €42,000 for the small battery pack. We highlighted the interior back in early March, and we'll provide a link to that if you'd like to learn more. But as you can see, the focal points are large digital display screens and a push-button gear selector. Both models go on sale in Europe this June, while they're scheduled to arrive in the US before the year is out. And this makes for an easy segue to our reminder to tune in to this afternoon's Autoline After Hours, because our guest is Matthew Modestofe, the project manager for e-tron vehicles. So join John, Gary, and Stephanie Brindley from IHS Markit to learn more about Audi's transition to a full electric lineup. And one last bit of EV news. Mazda announced the MX-30 will first be available in California this fall. And for those of you wondering about the rotary range extended version, it arrives as a 2023 model year vehicle.
The world is changing at an ever-increasing pace. No matter what the mode of transportation, there is always the need for an efficient propulsion system. And that's exactly what Borg-Warner has been doing since the earliest days of the automotive industry.
Automated and autonomous driving are important developments that help make the traffic of the future safer, more efficient, and more comfortable. We are ZF.
Spanish automaker Seat is spicing up its small models, the Arona and Ibiza. Since the vehicles are basically the same but with a different body type, they share an interior. The center display screen now sits in a floating position higher on the dash, which required the middle air vents to move as well. Seat really massaged the whole dashboard, which features new round air vents in the corners and a number of color accent panels. Both vehicles offer a range of gasoline engines as well as a CNG option, which are all paired to either a manual or dual clutch transmission. In the styling department, the Arona has the biggest changes, highlighted by fog lamps that now flank either side of the grille. But the Ibiza gets a few minor tweaks as well. Well, Godzilla just got a little meaner. Nissan is launching a new special edition version of the GTR NISMO in Japan this October. It features unique 20-inch wheels with red accents to match other parts of the car, as well as a clear coat carbon fiber hood, which is 100 grams lighter because it's not painted. But in our opinion, the biggest improvements are found inside the engine. It's still powered by a twin-turbo 3.8-liter V6 that makes about 600 horsepower. But the piston rings, connecting rods, crankshaft, flywheel, crank pulley, and valve springs have been weight balanced and dialed in with tighter tolerances, which allows for faster revs and quicker turbo spooling. Nissan didn't reveal price, but a standard GTR NISMO costs nearly $211,000, so you know the special edition will top that. And you know that Hellcat engine continues to prove to be a home run idea. Consumers just can't seem to get enough of them. And now Dodge says it's expanding production of the Durango SRT Hellcat. It had only planned to build 2,000 of them for a single model year. It's still sticking to that single model year, but it got more than 2,000 orders, so rather than turn those customers away, Dodge will fill all orders that were placed. It wouldn't say how many that is, but as we said the other day, prices can go over 90 grand. So there was no way Dodge was going to leave that source untapped. And with that, we wrap up today's show. Thank you for watching.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Borg Warner, propulsion solutions that support a clean, energy-efficient world. And by ZF. ZF, driving intelligence for software-defined vehicles and transforming next-generation mobility.